Welcome back, and it's time for my favorite show of the week, Relationship Wednesday, Matters of the Heart, and my favorite panel is already on set. Dr. Julius Kimani is here, Gladson is here, and today we have Yvette. Yvette, this is a very, very fun show, so good to have you. It's so interesting because Daktari and I are matching, and we are always matching. Unajua sasa wataanza kusema, oh, hawa wawili kuna many. And I like that you pointed out that Gladson and Yvette are also matching.
They also match.
Red socks, red pants. So there's something going on in studio right now. But this morning we're talking about abusive relationships, right? When relationships get, a little bit bumpy, because they start when it's all rosy, the honeymoon phase, and then it depletes, and then, mnaanza hapo kugongana. So what gets us to that particular point, and why do people stay? So the question you're asking you this morning is, if a relationship turns abusive, what makes it so hard to walk away? If a relationship turns abusive, what makes it so hard to walk away? Use the hashtag Morning Cafe TV47. We do encourage you to interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. You can tag me at Ann_Dida. We'll be sure to sample your feedback as we continue with this conversation. And our WhatsApp line is also active, 0793 267 279. Talk to us. We'll be happy to hear from you. So good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
Happy Easter.
Happy.
How was your Easter?
Easter yangu ilikuwa very busy. Because we were shifting from where we've been having church to where we have built. So I did a lot of manual work. Fresh beginnings. I tell you.
Comes with the resurrection of Jesus Christ. How's your Easter glass?
Mine was perfect. Yeah, mine was perfect. Kama daktari mi uzuri sikuama, but I just went to church.
Let's mention you.
Muhimu to mention, people have fresh starts.
Yes.
Yangu ni keeping time.
All right.
Fresh start.
Actually, Yakon is a very, very fresh start. Gladson has been keeping time in 2026, 2025.
Yeah, I was shocked to find him here before me.
How is your Easter, better as we start?
My Easter was really powerful, I can say. We had a different service in church. We watched a movie, The Crucifixion of Jesus. And for me, that was really great. Yeah, just getting that film moment and the normal way of service.
I love how we've started. We started with the all good stuff. How good Jesus, stuff. Paid the price for us. But now, why are we paying the price for abusive relationships? Why are people staying in abusive setups? Daktari, we said when we're starting, it's all rosy. It's all sweet, all the sweet nothings. Tunaambiana hapo, tunapendana, tunadanganyana, if just for lack of a better word. But what does abuse look like? I want us to start from that particular point. How would you define abuse in a relationship?
I think this is a very important thing, because a lot of people are in abusive relationships, and some of them are not even aware. And there are many types of, most of us, we think about the physical. Where somebody pushes you, somebody hits you, somebody actually does something physical to you. But of course, there's also the part of the emotional abuse. This is where somebody downtrods you in terms of emotions. They verbally, speak things that will hurt you emotionally. There's also what we call financial abuse, where somebody wants to control your money 100%. They also control how you spend. Sometimes they withhold it from you. You see, it's still a form of abuse. There's also what we call technological abuse. Where people use technology. Like now we have seen people who have been, they've had a good relationship, and suddenly they begin to be threatened that we are going to expose some of maybe it's a man and a wife, or a girlfriend and a boyfriend for that sake. And maybe this person wants to leave, and they begin to say, I'm going to send some nudes to the social media. You see, that is technology abuse. And there are people who, even when they part ways, they continue doing the stalking. They stalk with technology. They want to know who you're calling. They want to monitor your social media. And so it's still a type of abuse. So there are many types of abuse. And you've asked a very nice question. Why do people stay in this? Because in the first thing, it started well. So people get used to a normal. You know, this person, if it could be a man, it could be a lady, they talk nicely, and no abuser will put the wrong foot forward. They always start with the right foot. So they will treat you well, whether it's a man or it's a woman, and they will do things that will cause you to bond. And of course, in the process of a relationship, there are those moments. Actually, what makes people not leave, it is actually memories of the good times. And they keep on hoping that this person will change one day, but he usually doesn't. So the bonding that has been created between those two people for a period of time, especially the good moments, that is one of the major reasons why people keep on staying in that relation, the good moments. So somebody looks at this man, he's like, this guy I remember the times. I remember the way we went out, the way he took me to Dubai, the way he took me to Mombasa, the way she cooks for me, the way she washes, the way she takes care of the kids.
Yeah.
When you look at all these things, you're like, I think I need to give this thing another chance.
Range Rover.
Yes.
And other short stories. Actually, that is the mindset that people are staying in relationships with currently. But Gladson, I want us to still just stick on that particular point of defining abuse, because some would say abuse is relative, right? What is acceptable to some might not be acceptable to some when you're talking about abuse. But looking at it that way, does it mean that we are normalizing harm? You know, such that somebody would say that, you know, if you shout at, I was saying, Daktari, that for me, if you shout at me, that is abuse. That is abuse to me. And somebody might say, you know, shouting is not abuse to them. But would you say that with this, we are failing to call harm what it is?
Yeah. Kwanza, jana, when this topic was sent to us, I was somewhere and nilikuwa na have a conversation. Na nikauliza the person that I was with, I'm sure she's watching, alikuwa ananiambia, na hii kitu, mimi najua ni hivi, nikamwambia it's fine. We watch tomorrow, you will see if you are right or wrong.
Yeah.
Or maybe there is something you need to adjust. So mimi nikamuuliza what is abuse to you? Yeye akasema, nikamuuliza, can you stick in an abusive relationship? Akasema, hey, abuse is nice. Especially when after we have abused each other, then you hug, you cuddle. Okay, I was listening and explain. Then mi nikaona ana confuse the difference of normal conflicts and abuse. Because when normal conflict and you have done something wrong, then I reprimand you. Unapata, nakwambia spend hivi, this is not right, as my girl you should be doing this and this and this. Then after hapo you say, okay, I'm sorry baby, then mnarudi normal, you cuddle, hizo vitu alikuwa nasema. But sasa when it comes to abuse, it has to be constant and repetitive. For example, I shout out to you each and every moment I get. Unaweza niambia tu good morning, uliza what is good about this morning? Kwani umeshindwa kutokusalimia? Ama unaniuliza mbona hujanisalimia leo? Nakwambia I've been greeting you for the last 1 year. Kwani siku moja tu, siku mbili ama this week nikiamua kusalimia, is it a problem? Unapata? So it has to repeat itself mara kadhaa. Na watu wengi muuliza why they do all these things. It's simple. Mimi nasema hivi because I want to give two versions. One, yenye mimi mwenyewe have been there. Then the other one.
Hold on, slowly. You know you are rushing. You've been in an abusive relationship.
Yes, I have been in one. Tambo, not now.
Explain to us what was happening.
So, okay, I wanted to fit. Wacha kwanza nimalize alafu nikuja for just a few minutes.
All right.
So, the reason why people might stay, wacha sasa tuseme from other people's perspective, when the way Daktari has put it very well, na kwamba kuna hizo attachment. Unajua kuna wale kuna hizo emotional attachments. They love badly. Like they love you in a way inakaa kama ni obsession.
Yes.
So they're not living. They feel like nikilivu mtu I don't want to start again. How will I start? Nimekaa na mtu for 3 years. We have done a lot. We have a lot of memories. Kuna vitu mingi tumebuild together. Maybe ama amebuild nikiwa. Ama kuko na future naona hapa kwamba this guy is giving me some luxury in I'm less likely to find from another person. So why would I leave here? Wacha nikae hapa. Number 2, kuna ule mwenye I know na some friend na unapata kwamba the reason why yako pale it is because hawezi rudi kwao. Because akirudi kwao huko kwao is worse.
So it's a pattern.
It's a pattern. So yeye kwa anasema afadhali huyu ananitusi tu lakini ananilisha. But kwetu is worse. Huko naweza tusiwa na nikose kula. So afadhali nikae na huyu the lesser evil one. So unaona vitu kama hizo. Wengine ni economically. Ana imagine huku at least anakaa but ananisupportingi kwetu. So my mom feels well, ama mzee wangu anakula kutoka from this man. So wacha tu anichape, but ile support ibaki, so I suffer for the family. So kuna hizo issues. Now coming to me, umeniuliza why did I suffer?
That is where the story is. Why did you suffer? We started by saying Jesus paid the
price, but I had to also die for other people's
Interesting.
So, but I think yangu ni vile ilikuwa ndo inaanza. It was the first time I decided to love. No, it was just after high school, because kitambo I used to feel love is not a good thing. Okay, thanks to my Sunday school teacher, alikuwa ananiambia usipende before malize shule. So I religiously held into it kwamba until form 4 sipendi. So sasa after form 4, 3 months down the line, I met this lady. One of these M-Pesas ya best yangu, tulikuwa tunakaa tu hapa Kakam. So she was good, like she looked beautiful. Na I used to enjoy so much kwanza tukitembea naye around. Nasema Gelason manze, we love your taste. Like kila mtu anajua this
physical attraction for you.
Like ukipita tu hata bila wewe kukuepo, akipita tu watu wanasema yule ni mori wa glass. Yes, like kuna tu ile something about it. So as time went by, kizuri tu vile kinajitembezanga tu, we started having issues. Whereby now, you know, Josata vile alikuwa mrembo hivyo, also pia other vultures wa sindio, si watu wanajaribu ndoano zao. Sasa unfortunately, which took a crazy turn, she also decided to fall in love with a friend of mine. But mimi sikuwa na hiyo idea. But so there's a day we went out, we had good fun, then tulikuwa tunarudi, she received a call kwamba anafaa ende mahali. Then akaniambia, ilikuwa some 5 PM hivi. Then akaniambia nimeipigiwa simu na madhe, I need to go and take something real quick. Nikamwambia it's fine. Kama unaenda hivyo, hata mimi kuna best yangu nilikuwa nafaa ende nitembelee. So how about you go, then he will come later. So si akaenda, I went home, I was still taking her kwao. So nikamwacha hapo kwa kiti yao, I went back, nikatoa viatu 1 2 3 nikaenda pia akarash. So the second day on Sunday, ilikuwa on Saturday, so on Sunday, niliamua kutembelea best yangu like ile random 20 watch game. So kuenda kule knocking, nikaingia, the guy was nice. Juu pia okay, tuseme tu hakujua sana or maybe hakujua. So mimi nikaingia, we talked. Sasa nikamwambia umesimama kwa mlango for long. What's up? Kwani sasa ile mtaani unaulizaga mtu na wewe mbona unasema kwa mlango? Kwani uko na kitu nini sasa? You know you are friends.
Getting higher and higher.
Ile songa ni gote mama hivyo. So kumsukuma like hapa ndani kunaenda. So I was like wait, kwani mnajuana? Unapata, because alikuwa innocently seated, bado alikuwa amefika anywhere. So just kwani mnajuana?
You were expecting wapike mahali.
So
director anakuambia walikuwa shafika.
So fast forward, so tukaongea, then akaniambia huyu ni mama wa kwangu, and I was like okay, let me hata niimeze nitulie ndani. So I relaxed, vitu zote zikaisha. Nikajifanya tu everything is okay, because I didn't want to create a scene, because the best yangu I needed to understand how did this go. Ama mimi ndio side man na nafikira mimi ni main, so I need to respect myself pia kidogo. So 2 days later tukakaa, akaniambia ile ilikuwa sijui nini, hata tumechana nao mtu. But also deep down mimi nilikuwa na feel the reason why nilikuja pale after the 2 days, nilikuwa na imagine now what did the society say. Kifaa yangu imeenda bana.
So that's emotional abuse.
Abuse. Okay. So mimi nilikuwa na feel kwamba if I live here, mtu mwingine atafloss na udem kwa hii mtaa. Na sasa mimi I will feel bad. But like ile heshima nilikuwa nimepewa na Mamori because of dangling with the cream de la cream, ikaendea mtu mwingine. So I had to stay there. So sometimes unaweza pata for crazy reasons, people can stay in abusive relationship. Unamkubalia afanye tu vitu zake just because unajua you are gaining something from here.
What a way to live life. Anyway, we love testimonials on the show. That is very, very nice. Yvette, what's your definition of abuse in in a relationship setup?
Okay, so for me, abuse is a deprivation of some needs or some rights, or even being harmed in different ways. And you know, the society usually loves to say this: it's better the devil you know than the angel you don't know. So some people even stay in relationships that are very abusive because he or she, they're like, afadhali huyu shetani wangu than malaika koko nje na simjui. So you see the different beliefs that we have grown listening to, the different perspectives that the society has engrafted on us. So many people won't live a relationship because they're like, what will my family say about this? What will my friends say about this? For some, it's lack of identity. You know, we live in a society where people are trying to find who they are, and in the process, there's something called identity crisis. And so you see, some people stay because they believe this person is my life. They don't know who they are. They don't know how to exist beyond this person. So they endure the abuse. They say survival for the fittest, you know. Others say, you know, relationships are like an onion. Like every leaf has its own tears. So let us continue with this journey. And it's very, very dangerous. Especially, I can say a large percentage when I look at men and women, ladies endure abuse more than men. You know, a man will see this and they'll be like, hey, mimi mwanaume. And there are so many fresh foods in the market. So why should I stay with this one? But you see, for a lady, our attachments are strong. You find different people also have issues to do with daddy issues. You know, daddy issues are also reasons why people stay in abusive relationship, especially for ladies. They see this man beyond being my man. I'm also seeing him as my dad. I'm also seeing him as my protector because I didn't see this growing up. So when we are speaking of abuse, we should actually address the root. It begins from this moment. How did this person grow up? What did they miss while they were growing up? And these things that they miss are what forms them to endure even abuse. You know, I was watching the story of Mary Claire, the wonderful singer, and what she faced. And I believe this abuse didn't just happen that day. It's something she saw with this ex of hers. It's something that had been going on. But we see it escalated to this point of her being very hard.
So red flags were ignored.
Red flags were ignored. And that's something many people do, you know, because also love is blind for some people, you know. And so they're like, I love this person. I love what Daktari had said, that it's so much dependency. You see, they are like, I love this person and the good moments we had. So I am hoping, you know, some people have faith. They're like, I'm praying for my man. He will change. I will fast for him. He will be different. This is just a devil that has come to my house, you know. And so they can't leave. They're like, he wasn't like this before. So I must pray about this or I must do this, but I'm not leaving.
Yvette, you mentioned a very good point that we talked about it last week as well. You said that women, we can enjoy. What's your take on women have no capacity to love? Because you say when we get into relationships, tunaingia na emotions zote. Yani miguu zote ziko ndani. You know, we are standing on business. But what's your take on that statement that we as women, we have no capacity to love at all?
I won't support that statement. I would say that our way of loving is so loud. You know, for me, it's beyond emotions. For me, it's beyond words. It's me seeing this man and loving him with everything I have, okay? Because he has shown me an aspect that no man has shown me. People love people, different men, because your man is unique. The man of my friend and my man are very different. What I loved in him is not what I love in this person. And even when you see a woman cheat, when you see a woman cheat,
a man has led him there.
A man has led her there.
Yes, has led her. Yes.
Has led her there. So women have a great capacity.
Like that is laughing.
Women have a great capacity to love, and they love loudly. You know, they say men fall by sight, but women fall by touch and words. So you see, a man will talk to a lady, and a lady will listen, not just with her ears, but it's her heart. She's listening to this man from a point of her heart. And so you see, she grows in love. While the man is falling, ladies grow in love. Every day I am going to love you. I am going to love you. And so at times this love makes us stupid, you know. I will say that.
Yes, stupid in love.
Yeah, because someone will see very many red flags. People are telling you things, but you're like, no. Because what I'm seeing and what you guys are seeing are different. So you see, but I will just say our capacity is different, but we do know how to
Actually,
love.
I love that she said women love loudly, which I would agree. You know, when a woman loves, Usually she wants the whole world to know that, this
Yeah.
man is my world,
Yeah.
right? But just on that point, do you agree that when a woman cheats, it's usually the man who leads her to that point of cheating?
I agree. But I agree this way. I agree
No,
this
you
way.
agree. In fact, I love how you are,
I am prepared. I agree that it is the man who she's cheating with that led her there.
No, the man...
Not this other one. Let me tell you something. If you see, and I'm not comparing human beings to dogs, a dog barks because it's created to bark. If you see somebody cheating, it was in them. It was a seed that was just growing in them. They were looking around hapa na pale. Alikuwa an option. Because me I usually say, if you're going to cheat on your person, you better end this and go that way instead of doing that. So I will say there's a contribution. There are triggers. Because just like we say grass grows because there's rain,
Yeah.
so this man, maybe for example, it could be a husband, there are things that definitely did that provoked that grass to grow. And so she saw an opportunity on the other side. But at the end of the day, what we are saying, when a woman cheats, it's very hard to get out of it.
Yes.
Because they cheat emotionally. They are fully, they go 100% with their mind,
Yeah.
with their heart, with their body. Now, men, on the other hand, can go without their mind, they can go without their heart, and just body. That's why men are so easy to walk away from. They walk away very easily from a relationship. Because from the beginning, like probably what he said, from the beginning he was like, I just want this beautiful girl. I want to own her so that the society can see what I own. If that body, for example, that he was after, gets messed up a little bit, the man walks away. Because he's like, he didn't have a serious attachment. We are created, as men, we are created to own. So we can neither own on credit or own purchase, real. So for him, I think it was on credit. I'm just making fun. For when a man owns, let me tell you, he'll fight. That's why you'll hear some men will beg. I remember one situation that happened in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it was very sad because there's this guy, this man who was living in our neighborhood has taken somebody's wife.
Yeah.
And the guy happens to know. Now, he didn't come with battles. And I remember him knocking the whole night, just as saying, sitaki kupigana na wewe, mimi nataka tu nirudishie bibi yangu. Nirudishie tu bibi yangu. Mimi napenda bibi yangu. So, when a man owns, they own.
Did the baby go back?
It's amazing.
I think she went back, but not for a long time. She was, let me tell you, when a woman is gone, it's gone. It's not easy for a woman to turn back.
Yes.
You see, like Lot's wife, I think she wanted where she was coming.
Heri akuwe chumvi.
Afadhali akuwe chumvi, alikuwa anaangalia mnanitoaje huko. So just like we find women, for them, when they stay in a certain place and they don't want to move, they can make sure that they don't move.
Just hold on to that thought, but let's get to hear what some of our viewers are saying online. And the question of the day once again, if a relationship turns abusive, what makes it so hard to walk away? Use the hashtag MorningCafeTV47. 0793-267-279 is our WhatsApp line. Send us your feedback. We'll be happy to sample them live. We have Faith watching from Nairobi. She says, you keep hoping the person you fell in love with will come back. You don't leave because you're still holding on to that version of them. Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, Kevin is saying, people think it's easy to leave, but when fear becomes your everyday life, then you don't even know where to start. Mercy from Kisumu says, I stayed because of my children. I kept telling myself they needed a complete family, but I was breaking inside. Then we have Brian from Eldoret. He says, sometimes it's not even love anymore. It's just feeling stuck, like you have nowhere else to go. And from Mombasa says, they slowly destroy your confidence until you believe you can't survive without them. Daktari, or let's get to Gladstone first before we'll just hold on to this feedback a little bit. But there's a point that Yvette brought up about women being able to endure. I saw somewhere that most of the time women are rehabilitation centers for broken men. What do you think about that statement, Gladstone? That sometimes for you as men, you get into a relationship, you do not care to heal yourselves from, you know, your previous relationships, from your traumas, because sometimes, as we've said, this is a pattern that, you know, you've grown up watching this thing, abuse in, you know, in your parents were abusive in one way or the other. But then you get into relationships broken. Then women are now used as cautions in these situations. Then they keep on being rehabilitation centers for broken men. And that is why now they, you know, they're the ones who get hurt the most. Most of the time when we're talking about abuse, it's women who are, you know, the victims. What do you think of that? Rehabilitation centers, women, men.
That's very true, Anne. Very, very true. Kwa sababu, still moving on to what I was. Unaona sasa after this, ikaisha. Sasa mimi sema pia mimi lazima.
And I like that you still remember the days and the days.
Yes, I had to rudisha mkono. So because I felt kwani wewe umetoa hapo audacity ya kunihurt. Like mbona unadu hivi? Alafu unajua imagine it is the first love, like ndo umeanza. Na mtu anakuintroduce kwa love in that way. So the second person mwenye alikuwa anakuja, I used to look at them like a time bomb. Like pia huyu tu atawai cheat. So mimi pia nilikuwa tu sasa all my frustration I used to pour on her. Naona. When something is not working, ni yeye. When I feel like tukikosana kidogo, I will escalate kitu to an area mpaka anashinda. Si liko tu kitu kadogo, lazima tungeargue for this long. So napata. So but ungeangalia vile the way she used to approach it ilikuwa different. Because I don't know kama alijua my previous experiences or maybe ni upbringing yake ilikuwa hivyo. But ladies have this ability to turn into mothers even if they are small. Like watakuwa tu kama aka nikatoto kangu, I need to take care of them. So napata. So kuna venye tu you will treat them na watastay. They will absorb, they will try to understand you even when they feel like there's no need to understand you. But all these things boil down to one thing, it is love. The way women express love is so sweet. Like sisi wanaume ananga temea vitu kama hizo. So unapata msichana, uwezi muunderstand kwa nini. That's why kuna wengine wamepigana leo. Then unaambia wachana na huyu mwanaume hata akusaidii na kitu yote. Then kesho unakutana nao kwa barabara wakitembea. Unamuuliza nini ili happen? Anakuambia yake alinita mama na akapologize. Sasa hakuna kitu ningefanya. Unapata. So kuna venye tu they know how they have this tenderness in them, and that's why unapata wanaume wanajua kwamba I can always pour my frustration here. I can always find this as the easiest place ya mimi kutoa kila kitu nyiko ndani yangu, and mimi na assume and I believe, I don't know how we believe it, tuna believing it, she will stomach everything, she will be able to endure everything, and that's what unanga mara mingi they can say like a man cannot stay in an abusive place for long unless ako vulnerable to an extent, anajua kwamba nikitoka hapa I'm dead. But for men jumping ships easier. For a woman anaweza kaa 4 years 5 years hata lifetime mpaka wewe mwenyewe utakuja kusema mimi I never knew my mother as this strong. Maybe unapigiwa story ya things that happened. Bako unaanza kukaa unasema wait, hizi vitu zilikuwa zina happen kama niko hapo. You don't even have an idea hujawahi ona. Kuna venye tu hata yeye mwenyewe alikuwa na handle your father akiwa amejam mpaka mnyinyi kama watoto wao maybe mmeisha hata kwa single ama ni double room, you don't even hear the conflicts. You don't hear mpaka wewe mwenyewe unaishi ukisema mimi baba yangu na mama yangu hawajaipigana. Unaona? Yeah, because wanapigana. Yes, but they know how they fight. So your mother pia knew how to absorb hizi vitu zote. So I agree with that part because I have seen it happen by virtue of things. Love pia from other people's experiences. I can easily say kwamba women have this ability to just become punching bags of the family, become the Jesus of the family, and just become also saviors of the same families because they stick there to an extent unasema kwamba just because of this family, just because of this man and because of my kids and the honor of this family. Nakufa.
Hamtufanyii poa by the way. If would you stay in an abusive relationship? however you would love to describe it for you personally as Yvette. For me, I'd say that shouting is abuse. Hata kama ni mara moja tu, that's already abuse. But for you, would you stay in an abusive relationship?
Personally, I wouldn't. I wouldn't stay in an abusive relationship. I would use a personal experience. Growing up, I saw abuse. Like literally, I saw my mom endure. My parents didn't know how to hide.
Yeah.
You get. And my dad grew up in an abusive home. And so when even he married my mom, the only thing my dad understood, if you're not doing something right, it is, I will hit you.
Yeah.
You have to understand. Like when my dad sat us down when he was coming to apologize of how violent he has been with us while growing up and explaining his part, I actually understood. It resonated for me.
Oh, he actually apologized?
Yes. Yeah, and right now we are so good. But growing up, it was so tough for me and my sisters because we were only girls. And we could see my mom endure. And there's one day when I was in class 6, I asked my mom, why are you staying? Why are you staying? My dad is literally hurting you. We don't have peace. Have you ever entered a home ile nye watoto baba kingia mnajificha?
Yeah.
That was us. Our dad could step in hadi tusikie tu sauti. Kila mtu penye utajipata. Hapo ndio unajifichia. That's how violent he was. And I remember asking my mom and she was like, I am staying because of you. I cannot leave my children. And we are lawyers. So kwetu, my mom was like, people will put fingers on me.
Yeah.
I cannot stand that. And because of you girls, I cannot leave my home. And there's also a point she brought up. She was like, your dad is a person I love also. And I know one day he will change. So my mom stayed. And me seeing that, I was like, I will never allow a man, even if you shout, that day that you shout.
Did he change?
Yeah, he did change. He did change.
So at the end of the day, it was a win-win situation.
Yeah, it
for
was
your
a
mother.
win. God came through, actually. He got born again. And he's now my best friend.
Oh, wow.
But he tells me not to endure any form of abuse in my life, even if shouting.
But I'd be interested to know, how has that changed you as Yvette? How you look at life and how you approach relationships?
Okay. I would say it took me to a different angle. Before my dad's apology, I used to hate men. I used to, even in my teenage years, in our schools, we had things like funky. Any boy could approach me. That was, like, literally wagekipata. I used to hate men. I used to see them as violent creatures. And so it had an effect on my identity. I was like, me, I will never get married because it's a pact we had with even my siblings. We are never going to get married because men are evil, they're wicked, we don't want to be beaten, we don't want to be insulted and called foolish. And so you see, it took time. When I got born again, God had to deal with that part of me. I could not even sit in a room with men. If it was to be called for this interview and I see men, I could not be here. I could, like, it instilled that kind, I had that kind of fear towards men, and it was dangerous. And I thank God in our high school, a counselor worked with me, my high school chaplain, and she was there for me through that season. And she made me realize not all men are bad. So not all men are dogs, okay? So it's going to campus. It was now a journey of me healing, a journey of me embracing men now and allowing even men in my space and even getting to know them and see, okay, not every man is actually this way. And so for me, I really healed. Although it was a journey, one time in campus, I really erupted over a guy who we were just doing a group discussion and he started talking a very sensitive subject, and I was like, I'm not doing this thing of men again. I'm out. You see, so I had those relapses, but again, I came back and I just saw them. Oh, they're good people. They're good men out here. And yeah,
they're good men out here. Daktari is so, yani Daktari is story memshika. It's so in, and we can see you. But Daktari, I have a concern now. You know, for people parents especially, who are in an abusive setup at home, is it possible to show up as your best self, even if you say you're staying for the kids? Because I also saw a feedback that say that for her, she is staying because of the kids. Is it possible to show up as your best self for these children that you're staying behind for?
You know, one of the things that, and I think what she has said is very important, that there are women who have actually, you know, even if you read the Bible, it says, it is a woman who builds a home. And there are so many people who are stable today because mothers stayed. And eventually, in the process of, and I'm not saying that you stay, but in the process of staying, I'm very sure there is somewhere the change came. But I usually say, you have to ask yourself, am I good enough to take care of these kids? Because there are some kids who, if she didn't work with a chaplain, if she didn't get her healing, today she'd be probably be abusive to anybody who comes as in terms of a man.
Yes.
Assuming she gets into a relationship before healing. Because the father was abusive, and I thank God because he changed, and because he had gone through abuse. So you see, when somebody is abused, they are likely to abuse other people. Now, this woman who stays in this abuse, unless they have a stability or a strong place where they are relying on, it's also dangerous for the kids. Because now all these kids who are seeing the abuse happening are making decisions. Like she had already made a decision, I will never get married. So you have 4 kids who have stayed, but in their minds they have already changed. You will never get, if anything called male comes our way, we will deal with it harshly. So I say to any woman that is staying in an abusive relationship, they need to find, if they're staying because of the kids, then you have also to protect them in a very big way. Not protecting their father, protecting them so that the abuse does not get into their head. Number 2, I say, I say to every man out there, to every woman outside there, when you are arguing or you are fighting before your kids, I think that is something very wrong. Because it leaves an emotional residue that sometimes nobody may ever take it out. Thank God for chaplains like that one. But how many people will meet chaplain? Maybe I need to ask whether this guy ever got a chaplain to walk a journey. Or the abuse.
He's still dishing out traumas.
You see, because for him, he was like, I'm getting into another relationship.
Yes.
But this one, I'm going to be very careful about it. If I see any sign, like she behaves like the other one, I'm going to unleash some things.
Actually, he said it's payback time.
It was payback.
Payback time.
So what we are seeing outside here in abusive relationships are people who saw abuse, and some of them were abused, and they never healed. And most unfortunately, it's that people who have gone through abuse never look for solutions, especially in Africa. We don't look for solutions. We carry it, then we keep on transferring it, and then we start saying generational curse. Na si generational curse, ni tabia tu zilikuwa mbaya, ziliendelea bila kupona. So I think if you grew up in an abusive home, number 1 thing that anybody needs to do is to look for a counselor, and not a one-day thing. Look for a counselor who you can work with until you get your full healing out of that trauma. Number 2, you need to be so clear. Like, for example, you are saying, you see the moment you say shout, that means, to me, says there is something that is still not healed. So, because sometimes you see shout to the Lord. So sometimes
you're out of order.
Some people will shout to the Lord.
Yes.
So what I'm simply saying, everybody needs to have a journey.
So you're saying for me shouting now, I'm dealing with that trauma.
No, there must be. And what I'm trying to say is that also you need to define. In every relationship you get in, define what abuse is to you.
Yes.
So that the other person can be able to know that this is what this person calls abuse, and I will not tolerate it. But most people get into a relationship because they smiled at each other, they liked each other, and then they don't define the relationship. And that's a big, big problem, Anne, when people don't define what they want.
Right. I also saw a point like that, which brings me to the next question, that most of us, Gladstone, get into relationships for the wrong reasons. And I like that you mentioned that for you, it was physical attraction. Like, this is your trophy woman. Kila mahali huyu ni wa Gladstone. Do you think that is something that also contributes to relationships being abusive at some point? That, and we were talking about this last week. What sustains a relationship? We were talking about love or money and everything in between. Do you think that because we do not define really, and that we get into relationships for the wrong reasons. Now, that really is a big contributing factor to us also experiencing abusive relationships.
Yeah, it's very true. Na kama mimi vile nimesema, I got into one because I wanted to forget but also nilisahau one important thing kwamba kuna healing. Na pia acceptance kwanza that was just a bad experience, something yenye you don't need to hold on to. Not every girl, vile Iveta amesema, not every man is a dog. So they say not every girl is a cheater. Ina depend na who they are, na daktari amesema tena some things in inborn, because ndio msichana cheat by there has to be a lot. Those ladies don't cheat easily. So unapata kama kwa mfano sisi namba brocodes, tuko na zile iliyotaka brocodes, and I'll talk about the general ones because those zingine we don't talk about them. So kuna hii yenye tu you want gangster points because unasema mimi lazima nitafute msichana anakaa design fulani in terms of the physical, so that maboys wangu wapate kitu cha kusema the same way na mimi nilisema I want to get someone wenye kila mtu atakuwa anaongelelea, kiona anasema tu huyu mtu wa glass umsiguse, or glass unajua ako na taste, we love your taste. Alafu unajua kuna ile general consensus. Kuna ule ukileta kwa mbogi watakwambia bro, as long as you are happy we are okay with you. Wewe jua tu huyu msichana amepatiwa 4 out of 10 ama 3 out of 10 because hii ni yako, like hii beauty ni personal. Beauty huyu msichana ni personal, like wewe bora uko happy bro, bora uko happy, are you happy? Yes, I'm happy, yes. So then kuna ile general consensus, hapana, hii ni moto, kila mtu anakubali mbogi yote. So kuna ule mwenye anaenda kwa hiyo ya mbogi yote lazima ikubali huyu ni mrembo. So utapata kuna wengine they will even hurt even more ladies for the same reason, because utakuwa unaingia kwa relationship, unamleta kwa mbogi nasema kamati, na akasema 4 out of 5, unasema kama ni hivyo huyu aende. Then wengine unapata maybe they never healed. So unapata kwamba yeye akiingia pale aendi long term, yeye anajua tu mimi ni short term. So unapata, so anasema tu mimi nataka kwanza ni hurt kama wasichana 10 kwa hii period. So utapata yeye ni either hit and run ama just kitu kidogo tu situationship tu kidogo akiacha. So I think it's very important for people to realize what they want, because beauty, one is relative, number 2 beauty fades because inafikanga point vile tuliongelea last week what's a relationship, unapata kwamba when a girl, no matter how beautiful they are, if they don't respect you, utaanza kuwaona kama something different. If they don't submit to you the way you feel like you should be submitted to as a man, you will start seeing them like different animals that should be tamed. Utaanza kuona hii ni dogi yangu fulani, I need to tame her. So utakuwa na street, unafanya vitu mingi pale. So once you define, useme mimi naingia kwa relationship, and one of the things nataka ni a lady with a good character, a lady ule mwenye atanisaidia kubuild, ama mtu mwingine anasema I want an intellect, mtu amesoma, you know, na reason, uko na reasons zile zina make sense. So hizo reasons isikuwa ati validation from the people. It is for your own being. Unasema kwamba mimi mali nimefika in terms of my academics, nikipata mtu wako closer to me, I think we will think the same, we will set different goals, we will challenge one another, we will build one another. But kuna ile pia unasema kwamba I want to do it for mbogi, hapo lazima utapata kwamba you will hurt so many people, because already one, you are starting a relationship to please other people, which is wrong. Number 2, you are only there because we want people to feel like kwamba you know how to choose, not because you know how to keep a relationship. Then ya mwisho, you are just there because una feel kwamba kuna time inakumbuka tukiwa in university, so many people walikuwa wanaingia kwa relationship basically because walikuwa wanajua tukienda out school trips hawezi kosa debo kwenda naye. So wewe unaingia kwa relationship because tutaingiaje Masai Mara, mimi na mimi sina dem, ama niingie na kule Kitakuru or wherever we go na hatuna dem. Sasa kila mtu anaingia na wake, alafu mimi nakaa hivyo, unapata pana. So I will get a relationship because of this. So unapata kwamba because umeingia for the wrong reasons, alafu maybe hizo school out zinakosekana, zinakuwa less than you anticipated. Unapata kwamba unaanza kuhata watu because now the interest and that ile raha ulikuwa unataka to kupata because of having this girl which is going out, it is no longer there. Then unapata
it's no longer sustainable.
Hey, I'm not doing this.
Yvette, do you think sometimes we are just too harsh on people, you know, in abusive relationships? Because it's easier said than done. We ask the question, why do people stay, right? Sisi, we are just outsiders. We're just watching from the outside. They're the ones wearing the shoe. They know where it pinches the most. But do you think sometimes you're just being too harsh on them?
I will say yes.
In what way?
In this way. You see, as you have said, the one who wears the shoes knows where it pinches the most. In as much as we are really advocating for them to be free because of the pain they are going through, at times we really need to understand before even you point a finger. You know, some people are like, kwani wewe ujipendi, haujijui, why are you staying, and all these things. Sometimes people have come from huyu mtu amemtoa mbali. You realize someone will tell you, this man is the reason why I'm educated today. And so you see, people have so many reasons why they are staying, depending on the journey they have had with this person. Like you find that this person has been their destiny helper for the longest time. So I feel we should find a way to speak to these people who are going through abuse. Because society nowadays, especially with the feminism rising and people advocating for people not to endure GBV or DGBV, everyone is coming out and saying, you know, nowadays you can get help and everything. But I feel people are not really going to the ground and saying, let me know why are these things. Let me find out why. And from you finding out why people are staying, then you will know, okay, if this is her reason, how best will I come and help this person? Because imagine you sitting down with a person and they tell you, I am staying because I love this person. I cannot live without them. If you take me out of here, I will die. How do you begin to help this person? Because you realize this person is not after, okay, I'll give you money if you come out, I will host you in my house. They are literally telling you, like, this person is my life. I breathe, I move because of this person. So you realize this is more psychological than it is, because some people think it's all about money. Tuwasaidie, tuwajenge nyumba, tumpe pa kukaa, tumsaidie na watoto and everything. But you realize it's psychological. This person is so attached. So how do we begin to address the matter of the mind first? It is for you to be willing to journey with this person before even telling them, okay, now that I have journeyed with you, now that you know actually you can live without this person, can we now come out? So I really feel sometimes, not even sometimes, people are really harsh out here.
Yeah, most of the time.
Even with the issue with Mary Claire, I was just checking on social media. Some people are so abusive there. They're like, she was singing for us, singing for God. Kwani mtu wa Mungu ajui afai kuendure abuse and all those things. So I was seeing all those comments, and I'm like, not many people are trying to find out why was she even staying. Why did they reach to this extent, you know? And many people are like, she didn't know herself, she loved blindly, and so many even women nowadays are yapping against abuse in a very, I would say, unconventional manner. Let's just find a good way to put it, because you'll find some people even will go to the extent of killing themselves because their friends are constantly calling them names, calling them with your education, you're enduring abuse. And so no one is trying to really understand this individual. So you see most of them will end up killing themselves because I cannot live with this person. I can also not endure my friends and my family calling me names. So what do? God, into your hands I commit my spirit.
I hope Daktari and Gladson, you know who Mary Claire is. Gladson?
Very clear.
I hope you're not you're not in the dark, are you?
I'm in the dark.
Mary Claire is the lady in the acid attack, the SDA singer, right? But at this point, let's get more feedback. Let's hear what our viewers are saying this morning with regard to the conversation you're having. We're talking about abuse. Why do people stay? James from Nyeri says, shame keeps many people silent. You don't want people to say, I told you so. That is JMO. We have Lydia from Thika, and she says, every time you try to leave, they apologize. They change for a while, and they start all over again. We have some more. Once again, the question you're asking, if a relationship turns abusive, what makes it so hard to walk away? Anne from Mombasa says they slowly destroy your confidence until you believe you can't survive without them. That is what Yvette was talking about. I almost called you Mary Claire, but because you mentioned her so many times. But Daktari, you mentioned something quite interesting, that some people do stay because sometimes the memories are good. Somebody also mentioned abuse is nice. I don't know if it's you, Gladson. Abuse is nice. But now, what makes this cycle so difficult to break, Daktari? You know, they keep looking for something that they're used to, something that they know. They say, I'm used to abuse. I'm used to being shouted at. Now this is what I'm going for. I'm used to, you know, being hugged, being, you know, lovey-dovey. It's all rosy. It's all honeymoon phase. Then why is that cycle so hard to break?
One thing I'll say is that it's not that every abuse needs to, people need to part ways. Because if people can find help, they can actually stay together. Like a very good example. And I have worked with a few people, and they were so determined. They were very abusive, but they were so determined to make their relationship work. And after 3 years of counseling, their marriage stood. So number one is, I'm just trying to put a point that, and it has been said here, that sometimes people are looking for the smallest signs just to walk away. They don't want to put effort. But why do people stay? We said number one is those memories. You are like, I'll miss this, I'll miss that, I will miss this. So they're like, I can't stay without this. Secondly, you'll find the brain resists what we call change. And it actually wants to stay in a usual place. Have you ever seen people who despite the fact that it's raining, or like we saw in some certain areas in Kenya where people they were given better houses, but they still went to their old houses. These are the ones they rented. They went to their old houses because the brain naturally...
Familiarity.
Yeah, the brain naturally resists a lot of change. The other thing, we also have fear, the fear of unknown. You have gotten used to this man or to this woman. Where do I go after 25 years, 16 years? Where do I go beyond this? So you are like, the fear of unknown is so much that you find actually you don't want to go. And there is something, research shows that people who are actually eventually leave, if you talk to them, they have actually tried like 7 to 12 times to leave, but they were unable. And some of these are the reasons, the fear of the unknown. Also that big hope. I like her mother's story. She had hope. And eventually it answered. There are people who look and they're like, there is hope that this man will change. There is something else also called the Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome. This is big one. It is where people you find they have a sympathy. It's like you find like, for example, a kidnapper. Or an abusive person who has, let me use a kidnapper, he has kidnapped or held a whole, maybe car hostage. And then he begins to explain why he's actually doing this. And he justifies, and somebody begins to feel like, jamaa akona point.
Daktari, let's do a parting shot now with Gladstone and Yvette, because now we are out of time, unfortunately. But Gladstone, when should now somebody leave? In just 1 minute or 30 seconds.
Okay, so parting shot ni hivi. When you see threats zimeanza, wewe nitakumaliza, wewe nitakupiga nikuue, wewe nitakuvunja mguu, wewe I will make sure utawahi nisumbue hivi tena. When you hear such words, never assume. Sema ati he was just speaking out of anger, ama she was just saying because amekasirika, or I know huyu hata ana history, hizi huyu hata hizi. No, people start from somewhere. Hakuna mtu alizaliwa madara. They all start from somewhere. Either they experience it, wakainormalize kwamba we solve our issues through hacking one another, killing one another, or even committing suicide. Because even some anasema my uncle committed suicide. Hata naweza anza kuvalidate, ndo maana hata auntie yangu alijiua. Unapata? Because anajaribu kuvalidate the reason why something happened. So it is always important for people to look at hizi vitu kwamba number one, wakati mtu ameweza kunyima peace to an extent kwamba you are suffocating. Na unaona huyu ni mtu ananinyonga na achi. That is one, leave. Two, when you feel kwamba vile nilikuwa nasema hizo threats zimekuwa too much. The moment ameanza kuongelea the first threat, because that's how it starts. Just run. Then lastly, when you just feel like you have done your best, you have gone to the extreme, you have even changed who you are from Anne to Grace, just to impress him. But wewe mwenyewe unaona tu hapa the ray of hope, kulingana na vile mmeongea na umejaribu understand the reason why ako hivi, unaona iwezi. Just tell yourself, God, hata wewe mwenyewe unajua nimejaribu, I think it is time for me to call it quits.
All right, Yvette, tufungie show sasa. Are these healthy or valid reasons? All the reasons that we've had, that people are, are sending in, I stay for the kids, or shame, or, just everything in between that we've received this morning. Are these valid reasons why somebody should stay?
Actually, they are valid reasons.
But are they healthy?
They are not healthy. Someone should understand that a red flag will never turn yellow or green. They will always be red. So just find yourself out. If you have done your best the way he has said, just leave. Don't wait till you see yourself 6 feet under and your children remain parentless because you wanted to stay please, every red flag will always be red. Run away, protect yourself, because at the end of the day, you come first. It's about you, not what society says, not what your friend says. It's about you, your peace of mind. Love yourself.
All right.
That's what I'll say.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That is Yvette Ngasia. We have Gladson and, of course, Dr. Julius Kimani. Thank you so much for making time every Wednesday for us to have these conversations. It's always a very good time and a very good show having you, on set every Wednesday. Just to mention, because I know, Dr. you don't know, we are wearing pink. Today is International Pink Day.
Oh.
It's a day
So
designated to fight bullying, against bullying. So
Against bullying.
it's a day against bullying.
He's wearing very serious pink.
Yes, against
This is too cold. All right, that brings us to the end of this conversation. We're talking about abuse this morning, and we do encourage you to keep the conversation alive on our socials. TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, or next at TV47 Digital. You can tag me as well at Ann_Dida. Our WhatsApp line is 24/7 in service, 0793-267-279. We'll be happy to continue this conversation on our socials. And again, the question you're asking, if a relationship turns abusive, then what makes it so hard to walk away? Talk to us and use the hashtag Morning Cafe TV47. My name is Ann Odida. Good morning. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early.